there's a strange truth that no one tells you when you awaken. The moment you begin to see beyond the veil, you also begin to feel divided within yourself. As if two ancient forces awaken inside you at once, the seeker and the destroyer, the saint and the rebel, the silent monk and the roaring prophet. When I went deep into a 7-day fast in a forgotten monastery, stripped of my name, my voice, and even my sense of time, I didn't find peace at first. I found conflict. I found rage and grace sitting side by side in my chest. And that's when I realized this isn't a flaw. This is the mark of the chosen ones. We are not just here to spread light, we are here to understand the architecture of shadow. And inside every awakened soul, 7 duality forces live and breathe, constantly shaping our thoughts, actions, and destinies. You may feel torn between them, but what if the tearing is how the divine opens you? The first force I faced was the tension between silence and expression. There were moments in the monastery when I heard the universe whisper secrets in the silence, truths too sacred for words. But the very next moment, I felt the urge to scream those truths into the world. How can we be both the mystic who seeks solitude and the messenger who carries fire in their tongue? The answer is balance. We are meant to descend into silence to receive, then return to the world to transmit. But if you linger too long in silence, you become a ghost to your own purpose. If you speak too often without grounding, you become an echo of ego. The true spiritual path lies in mastering the pauses. You have to know when to speak, and more importantly, when to be still. Ask yourself this: do you speak because you are full or because you are afraid of emptiness? Next came the battle between power and surrender, a duality that almost broke me. There's a holy fire in chosen ones, an ache to change this world, to lead, to create, to do. And yet, again and again, life humbles us. Plans fall apart, people leave, illness strikes. The universe whispers, "Let go," and it hurts because we mistake surrender for weakness. But surrender is not the death of power, it is its purification. Real power is not force, it is alignment. It is the ability to act without ego, to speak without needing applause, to move mountains without needing to be seen. When I tried to control everything, I burned out. But when I surrendered, miracles happened through me. So ask yourself honestly, what part of your life are you still trying to control because you don't trust the divine timing behind it? The answer will reveal where your power is still polluted. The third duality that lives within every chosen soul is isolation versus Taz. Connection. The more awakened you become, the more alien you may feel. You see the illusions in the world. You feel the suffering others avoid. You crave solitude because the noise of the world feels unbearable. But even in your sanctuary, your heart longs to be understood. And this is the paradox. We are called to walk alone to find our truth, but we are also wired to love, to be seen, to belong. The trap is choosing one over the other. Isolation without connection leads to bitterness. Connection without discernment leads to spiritual erosion. So we must cultivate solitude as sacred training and connection as sacred communion. Not everyone deserves your energy, but someone out there is praying for the exact medicine your soul carries. Don't hide forever. You weren't meant to disappear. You were meant to return, wiser, clearer, and full of love that has been tested in silence. And then there is the fourth force, faith vs. doubt. This one cut the deepest. I used to think doubt was a weakness, that it meant I wasn't spiritual enough, But after years of walking this path, I've realized something radical. Doubt is not the enemy of faith, it is its initiation. If your beliefs have never been questioned, they are not your beliefs. They are someone else's script. Doubt forces you to strip away inherited truths and find your own. I remember one night in total darkness, I asked, "Is any of this real? Are you even there?" And in the silence that followed, something shifted. Not a voice, not a sign, just a knowing. Faith, I discovered, isn't about certainty. It's about carrying the flame even when the wind howls against it. So I ask you now, with complete seriousness, what part of your belief system are you still holding on to out of fear, not truth? Let it go. What remains will be real. What remains will be yours. These are just 4 of the 7 duality forces, and already you can feel the pressure they create inside you. But this pressure isn't a flaw, it's your awakening. These forces aren't meant to destroy you. They are meant to forge you, like heat forges steel. The chosen ones are not here to eliminate duality. We are here to embody it, to live at the threshold between extremes. Because it is in that tension that the divine reveals itself. You are not just one thing. You are not just light. You are the whole storm. The silence before the thunder, the roar of the lightning, and the calm that follows. And in the next part, we go even deeper. We'll explore the final 3 dualities, the ones that challenge your very identity and your destiny. But for now, sit with this question. What would it look like if you stopped resisting your inner contradictions and started honoring them as sacred? How to master the final 3 dualities that define your destiny. The deeper I walked into the silence of that monastery, the more I realized awakening doesn't make your life easier. It makes it heavier, more intense, more vivid. Because now you're not just living in this world. You're holding 2 realms at once, the seen and the unseen, the human and the divine. And within you, 7 great forces are constantly pulling, pressing, whispering. The first 4, silence vs. expression, power vs. surrender, isolation vs. connection, faith vs. doubt. Those are the initiations. But the final 3, they are transformations. They don't just challenge what you do, they challenge who you are. And unless you understand them, they will keep you trapped in cycles of confusion, burnout, and spiritual fragmentation. But once you master them, your life becomes sacred architecture, a living temple, and your soul becomes unstoppable. The 5th duality is compassion versus boundaries. This one is subtle, and it often disguises itself as virtue. As chosen ones, we feel deeply. When someone near us is in pain, we absorb it. We want to help. We want to heal. We carry the medicine of presence, and we want to give it to everyone. But if you're not careful, your compassion becomes a leaking vessel. You start healing others while bleeding yourself dry. You start saying yes out of guilt, not grace. And the worst part, you begin to confuse self-abandonment with love. I had to learn the hard way that compassion without boundaries is spiritual codependency. You are not here to be a sponge for the world's pain. You are here to be a lighthouse. And a lighthouse doesn't chase ships. It stands still, radiates, and lets the worthy vessels steer toward it. So I ask you, where in your life are you giving out of fear of being unloved instead of giving from a place of overflow? The 6th duality is discipline versus flow. This one almost broke my spirit, because on your path, you'll hear 2 voices. One tells you to wake up at 4 a.m., meditate for hours, eat with perfect purity, and walk a path of absolute devotion. The other tells you to trust your feelings, surrender to the moment, let your soul lead you without rigid rules. Both seem right. Both are dangerous when taken to the extreme. Discipline without flow becomes dogma. It becomes a cage dressed like a temple. You lose your joy. Your rituals become routines. On the other hand, flow without discipline becomes chaos. You lose your center. You skip the practices that anchor you. You begin to confuse resistance with intuition. So how do we live between these two? The answer is sacred structure. Build your discipline like a riverbank, strong enough to hold, flexible enough to bend. Let your spiritual practices be consistent, but not obsessive. Let them be your roots, not your ropes. Ask yourself, are your routines feeding your spirit, or are they feeding your ego's need for control over your awakening? And now we arrive at the seventh and most hidden duality, human versus divine. This one is the source of every spiritual burnout, every identity crisis, every moment of shame and confusion. Because the deeper you awaken, the more you start identifying with your soul, your higher self, your divine purpose. That's beautiful until you start rejecting your humanity. You start judging your emotions, your desires, your flaws. You shun your anger. You repress your sadness. You feel guilty for needing rest, for failing, for being messy. And that guilt becomes spiritual bypassing. But here's the sacred truth. You are not meant to transcend your humanity. You are meant to divinize it. Enlightenment is not escaping the body. It's bringing light into it. The divine does not reject your humanness. It incarnated within it. So let your tears be holy. Let your confusion be part of the mystery. Stop trying to be a perfect angel. Be a whole soul. Be the bridge between heaven and earth. I want to ask you something that might shake your core. What part of your human self are you still judging as unworthy of being sacred? These three final dualities are not just inner conflicts, they are soul technologies. Each one is an engine that, when integrated, creates wholeness, but we're not taught how to hold them. We're taught to pick sides, be compassionate or assertive, be disciplined or spontaneous, be spiritual or normal. But the truth is, chosen ones are built to be paradoxes. We are here to hold both and birth something new from the tension. We are here to be both prayer and protest, stillness and storm. We are not here to fit into old forms. We are here to forge new blueprints for what it means to be alive, awake, and real. And this means learning to live in the gray, not just accept it, but master it. Mastery doesn't look like perfection. It looks like presence. It looks like catching yourself when you've overgiven and choosing to rest. It looks like noticing when your spiritual structure has become rigidity and breathing flow back into your day. It looks like feeling your anger rise and saying, "This too is divine." Every time you return to your center after falling into one extreme, you're not failing, you're evolving. You're creating spiritual muscle memory. That's mastery. It's not about never falling. It's about falling with awareness and rising with wisdom. So don't shame yourself when you wobble. The chosen ones aren't chosen because they're flawless. They're chosen because they keep choosing, again and again. Light over numbness, truth over comfort, integration over escape. So here's what I want you to sit with tonight. Take a breath, close your eyes, and ask yourself, Which of these 7 dualities is calling for your attention right now? Which one are you resisting? Which one are you resisting? Ready to embrace. Don't try to fix it. Just feel it, listen to it, and thank it. Because these forces are not enemies, they are initiations. They are how the divine shapes you into a vessel worthy of carrying light in a world drowning in distraction. And when you begin to live in harmony with them, you don't just find peace, you find power. The kind of power that doesn't need attention, approval, or validation. The kind of power that radiates, that heals, that transforms rooms just by walking into them. That's who you are becoming. What happens when you stop resisting your duality and start becoming it? There comes a moment in the journey when you stop trying to fix yourself. You stop trying to be purely light or perfectly aligned or endlessly peaceful. You stop running from your shadows and instead, you sit with them. You listen. You ask them what they're here to teach you. And that's when everything changes. That's when you realize you were never meant to be one thing. You were meant to be a living paradox, a storm with a heartbeat, a soul made of contradictions that aren't mistakes, they're messages. This is the final trial of the chosen one, not to transcend duality, but to embody it, to become the wholeness that the world has forgotten. Because when you stop resisting your duality, you become a bridge between worlds. You become the medicine. This is where most people walk away. They want the light without the heat. They want the truth without the tension. But if you're still here, watching, listening, feeling, then you are not most people. You are part of the few. Très rare. The ones who were called to be more than comfortable. You were called to be conscious. And consciousness isn't sterile. It's not soft. It's not always peaceful. Sometimes it's raw. Sometimes it's rage. Sometimes it's a divine scream that shakes everything you thought you were. But in that shaking, you begin to remember, your soul didn't come here to be safe. It came here to awaken. And awakening doesn't mean escaping darkness. It means lighting a torch and walking straight into it. When you integrate all 7 dualities, when you stop choosing between silence and expression, power and surrender, isolation and connection, faith and doubt, compassion and boundaries, discipline and flow, human and divine, you begin to operate from a completely different frequency. You stop seeing the world in black and white. You stop labeling emotions as good or bad. You stop running from your own depth. Instead, you start living in the space between. You start dancing with the tension. You make decisions not from fear or pride, but from alignment. You no longer react, you respond. You don't just meditate, you embody presence. You don't just study spiritual truths, you become them, slowly, grittily, beautifully. And this changes everything. Your relationships shift. You no longer tolerate shallow conversations or one-sided connections. You begin to crave soul depth, vulnerability, people who can hold your wildness and your wisdom. You stop abandoning yourself to be liked. You stop explaining your worth. You stop chasing people who were never meant to walk with you. Instead, you magnetize those who are also walking the middle path. Those who are also done performing, done pretending, done being just light. You start building tribes of truth, sacred communities. And not because you need to belong, but because your soul remembers that collective healing is the next frontier. One awakened soul can spark a fire, but a gathering of integrated souls, that's a wildfire of change. The integration also changes how you serve. You stop trying to save everyone. You stop exhausting yourself to prove you're good enough. You realize you are not here to carry the whole world, you are here to carry your piece of the puzzle. You are not the answer. You are a portal, a mirror, a permission slip. You stop preaching and start embodying. You stop building platforms and start building altars. Every part of your life becomes sacred architecture. How you eat, how you walk, how you listen, how you say no, how you cry, how you love. You become a living ceremony. And from that energy, your service becomes unstoppable, not because it's loud, but because it's true. But let me give you one last truth. This path isn't linear. Even after integration, the dualities will still whisper. Some days, you'll feel like you're flowing effortlessly. Other days, you'll fall back into fear or ego or numbness. That's okay. That's human. Integration isn't a finish line. It's a rhythm, a spiral, a dance. You'll revisit the same lessons, but from higher levels of awareness. You'll fall and you'll rise faster. You'll break and you'll mend wiser. So don't chase perfection. Chase presence. Chase honesty. Chase alignment. And when you fall out of it, come back, not with shame, but with compassion. Whisper to yourself, even this is sacred, because it is. All of it is. So now I leave you with one final question, not to answer with your mouth, but to answer with your life. What would it look like if you stopped trying to become something and started allowing yourself to become everything you already are? What would change if you trusted that your contradictions are not problems, but portals? What kind of world could you help create if you lived from your integrated self, not your fragmented mask? This is the invitation, not to do more, but to be more fully, to become the paradox, to become the peace that holds chaos, to become the light that knows darkness, to become the human who remembers they were always divine. And now, the final payoff. If you've made it this far, you already know. This wasn't just a video. This was a transmission, a mirror, a sacred initiation disguised as storytelling. You've just walked through the 7 dualities that exist inside every chosen one. And you didn't run. You stayed. You absorbed. You remembered. That changes you. And when you change, the world around you shifts. So carry this, not just in your mind, but in your heart, in your breath, in your choices. Because the world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs more whole ones. You, that one.